feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi everybody, welcome to today's event. We're going to be covering today, particularly the brand new year going through 2022. And so welcome to all of you guys. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are a previous subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you in today's video. So for today's video, we're going to be more so focusing on a mundane and a large group of different topics such as politics, health, climate change, and you name it. So whatever you guys have submitted into the New Year's Eve event is what I will be covering along with my set of questions. Now, please do not complain about the question that I have in today's video because I tried really hard to find questions that will be very useful and stuff that we should read on going into the next year. And I know how things can get very dark and scary. Please do not get scared. If you don't like the question, please next time put your questions in and it will become less scary, of course. I'm not trying to scare you, but I just want to let you know that in advance. So I want to wish you all a happy brand new year. Thank you for all of you guys who have stayed with me this year and the previous year before that. This is our second year going into with the channel, of course. Things are going to start to have a major shake-up. We're going to start to change things on the channel. But as of right now, we're going to keep it the status quo. So this is being live streamed on December 30th, 2021 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason why I say it is actually 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason why I put this here is so that you guys know exactly when this video is being recorded, and it's being recorded right before the new year. Okay? And if you guys are wondering if I have an accent or anything about that, you can just read the disclaimers on your screen right now. And of course, this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. So I do hope you enjoy it. Now, if you are new here or you're my previous subscriber, all the questions, because it will be a long video, is probably going to be very hesitating. But everything will be timestamped in the description below. Kind of scroll through later on when the video is completed. And just kind of scroll through and kind of see what video, what topics you want to look at, particularly that interests you. But if you are watching this live now, well, hang on for the ride, of course. All right, we have tons of good questions. Now, if you do have questions that you would like to have answered in this video, wait till the end. We'll be asking all the questions you guys have. All right, guys? Same thing to you, love. Same thing to you. Hi, Princess. Welcome back, love. Okay, so the first thing first is that I got actually exclusive content from a news media source. Now, you may have remembered about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton during the 2016 election, right before the presidential election in 2016. You may have remembered the video with Grab My Cat. Well, I was lucky enough to get my hands on a hot press of what happened, the second part of that clip that was not shown to you in the media. I'm going to show it to you right now before we ask our very first question in 2022. So I do hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit on repeat here, so you can kind of really see what happened. And yeah, this is what they did not include in the media in case you have not saw this video yet. So anyway, let's jump in and let's start the new year, right? So there's no better way to start than asking how will Donald Trump be in the year of 2022? As you clearly see, that is how Donald Trump is being beaten this year. Let's see what holds for him in the next couple of years coming forward. Hi, Doris. Welcome, love. So let's take a look at then. I think after this, we won't be covering a lot of politics. It'll be mostly climate change. Okay, so Spirit Angels, tell me, how will Donald Trump be in the year 2022? Is there anything key highlights that we should know about? Okay. Okay, so the first thing I got here was, this is about the Trump Organization, right? So in this Trump Organization, then we have the Page of Pentacles here, and this kind of hints to me that this was something that was brought up from the ground up, but it was based on money that was used fraudulently. So basically tax evasion, maybe stealing money from other people, scamming them. So it's basically not really like a father-son business. It's more so one of those businesses that just steals from other people and profits off of customers and other people, of course. We do have here as well, we do have the Wheel of Fortune. He is no longer in a state of luck, so going into the next year, he will start to see him struggle more with his cases, particularly revolving around finances. And then lastly, we have the Knight of Wands. I do feel like in some way or some form, he's either going to sell the Trump organization, leave the corporation, leave behind and resign. It does feel like in some way or some form, there is going to be some sort of leaving in some way or some form. Potentially, it could be leaving the planet. Who knows? It's entirely up to him and his physical body, what it can sustain, how many McDonald's you can have in a day before the coke takes you out. Hi, Jocelyn. What's up, love? So, that is what I see for Donald Trump in the year 2022. So now let's ask, will there be any positive thing that we will experience in 2022? Now, if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the live chat, but kind of just wait a little bit so we can kind of get through some of these questions first. Again, if you are just jumping in, everything will be timestamped in the description below. Okay, so will we be experiencing anything positive in 2022? Okay. I haven't used these cards in so long, so it's so nice to actually finally use them again. Okay. Whew, okay. Tough energy here. All right. Okay, so I hope you guys can see the cards now. So we have here, the first card here is we have the Five of Cups, right? With the Five of Cups, the guy standing upright, looking at the Three of Cups, and the Two of Cups standing. And a lot of you guys, this is kind of like a message for you particularly. A lot of you guys are so heavily focused on what's going around us that's bad. That we're starting to forget what's really good. We're not being grateful for the things that we have. We're being upset about the things that we don't have. For example, lockdown, or not being able to go out and meet family or friends. But constantly try to see this in a more positive light. Try to see it in a way that, like, okay, so if I'm not meant to see my family and friends, what are ways that I need to, what is this about? What is it for me? Is it growth? Is it financial? Am I supposed to focus on me? Right now, for me personally, as a person, right, as a YouTuber, my goal and my purpose going to 2022 is to work on me. Because the more I work on me, the better I am going to give you more better content going forward for you guys as well. So we do have the King of Cups, right? When you get into that mindset, the things are going to start to get crazy, chaotic in the new year, right? This is the message for you guys, right? It's going to start to get chaotic and crazy. But if you can rise above your emotion and be able to create that foundational level in your root chakra, which is your sexual energy, understanding and be feeling comfortable in your skin. Once you're able to make that foundation, you're able to stand tall and you won't be drowning in your emotion, your feeling. You know, a lot of what 2020 and 2021 had taught us is that we're so emotionally involved and invested in things. And basically, what Spirit's trying to tell you that you don't need to always put your energy in terms of an other thing. Put your energy in you, invest in you for one, because I think that's what all you guys need to do. We do have here as well in terms of positive news, we have Ace of Pentacles. A lot of all of us basically here are going to be struggling financially. And because of that, they're trying to tell you here that there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is that we're supposed to grow spiritually. And the best way that people grow is when they have nothing. When you're not dependent on money, you start to realize what you didn't appreciate, what are the small little things in your life, rather than the big things that you have when you have money. And so basically what Spirit's trying to do is open our eyes. We have the Sun here, right? And when you do that, you're going to start to become you again. You're going to start to feel like you were innocent, you're pure, you're energetic. Like you finally feel like you can do the things that you always dreamt of. And the reason for that is that once you find yourself and understand and appreciate the little thing, you're going to be able to get to that point where you can do anything and nothing is going to stop you. Nothing's ever impossible. And you have to, yes, financially, you will struggle. Some of you guys are going to start moving away from your home. Some people are going to have to be evicted. Some people are going to be leaving. And that's okay. Because what spirit guides are tell you now is that there's nothing to be worried about. Understand that it's meant to happen at the time that it's meant to happen. And that there are better and bigger things ahead of you. Even though it may not look at it now, but remember, there will always be light at the end of a tunnel. And that in order to have light, you must have darkness. In order to have darkness, you must have light. Right? There needs to be an equal balance. And right now, you may be experiencing a lot of darkness. there will be a light that will come in eventually, and that will be you. You are the light. And once you start to see that, you're going to start to experience that because you're going to start to attract that light, that energy towards you. And lastly, in terms of positive news that to experience in 2022, it's a spiritual revolution. But the spiritual revolution takes place on the innermost level. It takes place within inside of you. And so really this what spirit guides are trying to tell you going into 2022, and that you need to focus more about you and focus on the inside. Get to know you for once. And that's really what spirit is trying to highlight here in this particular thing. Now, was not expecting this. I was expecting more like breaking news, like stuff like that. Hunger was solved or something like that. But no, we got something about spiritual, and there's a reason for that. Maybe we'll find out at the end of the video based on other questions or other topics. We'll find out. No worries. Let me know how you guys all think about that statement from the guys that was channeled. Okay, so oh my god. Honestly, it's chaotic. All right, anyway, let's jump. Hey, what awaits us in 2022? Okay, so we have a political figure here, but it's the end of a political figure, but it's also a rise of a new one. Okay. Yeah, okay. So there is, okay. It's kind of good and bad cards here, but we'll see. So what awaits us in 2022? I feel like I keep putting them so far away you can't see them. Okay, this is better. Okay, so what we have here crossing here is we have the Four of Swords. And the first thing I said here was that there will be an end of a political candidate or leader, but there will be a rise to a new one at the same exact time. Something will take its place. Right? This potentially could mean that Donald Trump steps down from the political field, but someone else takes in and takes the reign. We do have here as well is on the left side here is we have the strength card. And the first word that I asked my spirit guide before I started talking about this, I asked my spirit guide like, does the card mean President Biden and Kamala? And no, what actually I heard instead was quote unquote tame the beast. So potentially it means that this is the beast here, right? That someone who comes in it that they're trying to tell you that we need to tame it. I don't know what that means, okay? So I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here energetically. We had the Tower card here. Now this talks about upset, upheaval, revolution, big changes ahead. A change in leadership, a change in the way that we do things, the way we operate, the way status quo in our life. Something gets upheld, something turns. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. Stuckiness, feeling unlocked, feel like we can't get out and time is running out. And that we feel like time is not on our side, right? But actually, funny enough, I just noticed here that there's a card here. And so we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here. And we have, actually, just believe it or not, this is like the Republican card, but it's about money and corruption. Potentially, this could be the end of corporate greed. Potentially, it could be the rise of wages for Americans across the world or people around the world that they are living better and more happier. This could be a positive message, but it could be a negative message for those who are taking advantage of others. So that's what I'm sensing here in terms of the new year with away stuff. We do have here the Lovers card, right? Becoming more in union with one another, being more connected spiritually, and understanding that faith isn't what always brings people together, but it's the understanding of oneself that does that. Then we also have here as well as leaving anything and everything behind. And it feels like to me here is that people are going to start to realize that they don't have as much control on people anymore as they once did, because people are willing to walk away from things if it does not suit their best interests, which is something very different from the many other generations as well that had or the many other years that people operated, because the way that people did is that if they needed a job, they stuck with the job no matter how much abuse that they faced there. And because of that, it allows them to keep continuing the trend. But it feels like that is going to be in reversal. That it could be the way spirit talking to me, but it may not be in our way, but it could be the way that I'm describing it, but in a different way, if that makes any sense. Okay, so hi Tiva, welcome. I wonder about the significance of February 2nd. Hi, love. Been a while since I last saw you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's see. What is the significance of February 2nd? That's an interesting thing. I had no idea what's happening February 2nd. I just know for damn sure I'm not going on a Valentine's date. That's about it. Okay, so what is there anything significant or energetically happening on February 2nd? Okay, so I'm here and ask astrology wise. So I don't know anything about really much about astrology, but I'll do my best to explain what's going on here. Okay, so we have the Queen of Swords, right? And the Queen of Swords here is kind of telling me that this has to do with something within the air. Potentially, it could be the way that we breathe, the way that we think, the way our thoughts are, the way that we communicate with one another. It could also be referring to telepathy, right? We have here on this slide here is we have the Three of Cups. And we kind of talked about celebration here, that there's a common understanding. It feels like there's something that unites people. Unlike other topics, it feels like there's going to be something that comes out around the month at the end of January to the early month of February into early March. It does feel like something is going to be there that's going to be very uplifting, that people around the world will have a common understanding and a common agreement, something that we will never have really witnessed before. And so it'll be really interesting to see what this is. We do have here as well is that we have the Six of Pentacles here. This could potentially, again, relating to what we just spoke about, could be corruption and greed. It could be about happiness, that people who are doing bad things are finally getting their karma or starting to feel the consequences of their own action. That's what this could be. We do have here as well as we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of Swords here, and it does feel like in some way that was starting to get by, but you kind of cannot allow these people, whoever this is, to shield your happiness, so to speak. I don't know what this means. Yeah, okay, so there's trouble here. So there's potentially corruption. Again, it does feel like there's some sense of trouble. I'm being focused on Germany, and it's focusing on banks. So it could be like Deutsche Bank from Germany. It could be a different bank. It could be an economic collapse. It could be the way that we handle money. It could be a seismic shift. Maybe we go from cash all the way to Bitcoin or a digital. That could be what this is. We had the High Priestess here. It's going to be whatever happens here. It's going to be within our best interest. So you can trust that the universe has your best interest at heart whenever this occurs. So even though it looks like, again, like I said earlier, even though it looks dark at times and look glimmer, there will be a sense of sparkle. There'll be happiness along the way. You may not understand the reasoning behind it at the moment, but as time goes on, gradually, you're going to start to understand it a lot better. So it does feel like there is some sort of significance evolving around February 22nd. And I think I know why you mentioned it, because it's 2-2-2-2-2-2. So that's interesting you mentioned that. Okay, so Patricia, that's I hope you're doing very well, love. I saw your email and we were getting back to you tonight. So apologize, I have not been on my email for like months. So let's see. So spirits and angels tell me, will COVID-19 be ended in the year of 2022? Now, I did cover COVID, so this would be a very short video. I talked about how long COVID would last, and the tarot cards came out about 6 days ago. I said 7 years. So let's see. It could also be referring to 7 months as well. Let's see. Spirits and angels tell me, how long will COVID last? Will it end anytime soon? Will it end in the year of 2022? Yes or no? Okay, let's see. No. Nope. Okay, so we have the King of Wands here. No, actually, it feels like because of it, it's going to be around the midterm that we're going to start to notice that the virus is going to start to get worse, and that it's going to be another year of COVID-19, and that's because the Democrats here and the radical Republicans here, because this is conservative, upright, regular conservatives, radical Republicans versus liberal Democrats fighting one another on vaccines and COVID-19 and stuff like that. And because of that, we're going to be in this position. So no, I don't see anytime soon. I feel like in some way or some form, we will be having COVID for another year. So yes, we will be in COVID again. Now, will New York City go into lockdown? Will New York City go into lockdown beginning in 2022? Will 2022 Will New York City be in lockdown? Depends. It depends, really. Okay, so it depends. So we have here is that this is New York City right now. New York City is kind of badly beaten because of the pandemic, and so a lot of businesses within New York City are struggling. We have the double card, right? The former administration did not help the situation, instead made it worse for a lot of New Yorkers. We have here on the right side here, we have looking at the COVID-19 results on the television. It's reversed. Tells me right now it feels like people are going to be putting COVID on the back burner, and that could be what's going to be the driving force for this. People are going to get sick and tired of COVID, and they're going to start to spread it more and more. And it really depends whether or not there's going to be enough cases that will qualify for a lockdown. But I would not count it out. It does feel like New York City has the potential to be on lockdown. Hi, Ken. How are you, love? I think it has to do with the energy that numbers carry. I got 11, 11, 5, 5, 5 daily. Actually, funny enough, Jocelyn, you're the best too. Funny enough, actually, if you guys had not noticed, I talked about this before. I talked about a long time ago, and I still see these numbers periodically. When I was leading into the election, I wanted to know what would be the electoral college number, and I kept seeing 306, 232. Simultaneously every day. I can't explain it. I was like looking it up. I'm like, is it an angel number? Turns out it's actually electoral college number. Until this day, I still see the numbers. I don't know why. So if you know why, please tell me, because my mind is going crazy at this point. But so the next question I want to cover is socially. How are we socially, spiritually? How are we as a group? How are we as humanity? How are we? How are we going to be as a humanity, as a whole, as a collective in 2022? How are we collectively? Okay. And actually, funny enough, before I started this live, I saw this at the bottom of my deck thing. And so it's actually ancestors' messages. And I thought this was a very beautiful message. It says here, release the burden of worry. Give them to us, we will take care of it. And I think that might be for some of you guys who might need to hear that. So if it resonates with you, let me know. Okay, so if you guys want to do a little manifestation technique, go into the comment section of this video and write down all your New Year's Eve resolution, and then say, I manifest that I will do this for the benefit of myself and others. And if you put that down in the comment section of this video, you will be able to manifest that into the new year. So definitely try doing that. That might be a manifestation technique that you might be interested in doing. Okay, so we have the 10 of Wands in reverse, right? And this is very interesting because we're talking about how are we doing socially. So I feel like as a collective, as humanity, we're starting to understand one another on a spiritual level. It does feel like in some way that the energy is starting to connect us again. Right? You see here the woman and the man. So we have the woman here and the man here, right? Let's hope that it's right here. No, actually, it was this way. That's how I saw it, right? No? Yeah, it was like that, right? Okay. All right, so we have the man here looking at the woman. The woman's looking away, but the connection is there. He sees her for what she's worth, but she's looking down and she says, I see this bird, and she's appreciating a small little thing, which is the bird. But when this card looked at the woman, he's seeing her beauty. And so what this really is, the connection here is, it's very simple, very simple. It talked about the fact that we are starting to understand why we're here and our purpose here. We're starting to understand why there are male and female, why there's unisex, non-sex. And it does feel like this is the demographic, the breakdown in terms of gender. It talked about masculinity and femininity. It did not talk about the particularly genitalia, but it talked about the sexuality that comes about. And it talked about our connection, our pull, the attraction that brings two people together, the union center. It does feel like this revolved around race and gender. I don't know why, but it does feel like in some way that it won't be anything about the government. It just feels like we understand each other. So maybe if you're a male and you're listening to this video, you might not be able to understand women as you once did, but now you're able to understand them on an energetic level. And the same thing with females when it comes to males. And you might not be able to understand why men are so stupid and why they do the things that they do, but it does feel like in some way a lot of you guys are going to start to understand how people operate. It almost feels like there's a connection. Like it's almost like silence, really, is what it is. It's like you guys don't speak, but you understand. Like that's the type of language that we're doing. That's the information I'm receiving. It's different. It's different. It's way different than last year for sure. Okay, so let's do the next question. How is our energy going into 2022? Because they're talking about solar flares and stuff like that. And if you don't know what a solar flare is, it's basically a geometrical solar storm off the sun that goes right into space and hits Earth's electromagnetic field and electrically charges it, what brings our awareness up very high. But there's a consequence for things that go high. Disasters happen. And so it will bring about natural disaster, climate change, and will electrically charge the atmosphere. So let's take a look. At the expense of heightening our spiritual awakening, it would also cause damage to our home. And because of that, what it does is when damage occurs at your own home, you're able to appreciate it more, especially when it's lost. Okay. All right. So we have the full card here. It does feel like the weather in the globe and on Earth, right, planet Earth, it does feel like it's going to skyrocket. It does feel like it's going to start to get warmer and warmer and hotter and hotter. It does feel like in some ways we're going to feel heat in some way. I feel like for some of you guys, it could be termed a passion, energy, drive. Like I almost feel like I'm on candy right now. And it just feels like there's so much energy here. Like there's people feel powerful, they feel fulfilled, they feel like they can do the things that they want to do, like they can be passionate about it. It almost feels like people are just passionate. I don't know why. It just feels very passionate, just energy. We have here the tower. It's all about change here, right? We're talking about passion. It feels like there's a seismic shift, maybe a cultural shift, where we shift our mindset and our perspective from one place to another. And because of that, we're running towards our goal. I feel like if you were to make a New Year resolution, this will be the year that you want to do it in. We have here as well, we have the Five of Cups here, right? We're talking about financial despair. Right? I talked about this before early in the video. Even though there's financial despair, it does feel like you're going to need to start to appreciate it. And that even though these are obstacles, these are going to be obstacles in your way to being fully compassionate and very productive. This year is going to be productive, right? And so there's going to be obstacles that's going to keep you down and keep you stuck. You want to get around that, right? You want to look at the small things. Look at that little white bridge. I don't know why there's a bridge here. Potentially, for some of you guys, it might mean bridging the gap between two things and connecting yourself more to your mind, body, and spirit. It could be whatever that meaning could really mean to you. Yeah, this is interesting. And then we have here as well on the right side here is we have the Page of Wands. We're talking about travel. And it does feel like for some of you guys, you may not be able to be fortunate enough to travel. So instead of trying to travel, it does tell me here to plant a tree, plant a plant wherever you're located and manifest that plant to grow up and be big and beautiful and gorgeous. And each time it grows, manifest something different, positive in your life or into the earth. And because of that, it does feel like the energy is going to get stronger and stronger. And the more you do this positive energy with this plant, you're going to start to grow with the plant. And the more you take care of it, you want to treat that tree or that plant as if it's a part of you. And the more you do that, the more the plant's going to grow, the more you're going to grow with it. And the more that you realize that you're one, and the more you will be more unified. That's what I'm seeing here. That the energy here is so strong and so passionate. You're so loving and so caring. You need to be gentle with yourself this year. Okay? I do feel like this is a message for you guys, right? The spirit, right? Because there's supposed to be a message about what's going to happen, and the spirit guides are just giving straight up messages to all of you guys. So I hope it resonates, I guess. Okay, so find the 2 submitted questions on invasion and electrical prices. Okay. Okay, so this was a submission. A lot of you guys have submitted a lot on my website. There's so many questions, but I felt a lot of them did not resonate with today's video, so I did not put them in, but I did this one. We have here, while I watched the beauty video, another tarot reader was suggested to me. I started watching it, and she was saying that these new variants are going to be really bad from the month of November to January. She also mentioned that with this new crazy variant, Scientists won't know what to do, but that wasn't the part that I found interesting. She kept saying something doesn't feel right about the next few months. She mentioned while we're on lockdown to stop the spread of this new variant in month of November to January, that someone over water or overseas may try to invade the United States. She said it's something like something is taken from us and there's nothing that we can do about it. Have you felt anything like that in your reading? Another country trying to invade the United States in the upcoming months. Okay, so let's see. What that's about. No, I have not actually seen spiritually and energetically that there's an invasion. We have spoke about that in the past with other psychics, but I have not outwardly that I felt that energy. I have not personally studied it. Once I did, but I don't feel that way anymore, but we'll see. So spirit sayings will tell me, will there be any invasion on the United States? Will the United States experience an invasion in 2022? My gut telling me no. It feels like the information is inaccurate. Now I don't mean to like say that in the wrong way, but sometimes it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like that's happening. It feels very calm. Like the energy around me right now is calm. Like there's nothing going on. It's not chaotic. It's not noisy. It's calm. I don't know why. Okay, so we have the Four of Pentacles here, right? The United States right now is going to be a lot of lockdown. So some states are going to be a lockdown, some states are not. Some states are going to be functioning, some people are not. It feels like it's kind of like iffy, right? We have here, and right now, this time, people are celebrating New Year's Eve, right? This is New Year's, right? Going into the next year, we have three new events that's happening. We already had three major waves, right? We're about to have the fourth one. And I don't necessarily see an invasion coming because we have the Knight of Wands here, and this person is fleeing. This may have been a plan, so I'm not saying the person who read on this was incorrect. What I'm saying here that the energy changed. Like it's not in the book anymore. I feel like the energy they retreated. Maybe it was a plan that was supposed to happen, but it has retreated. I don't feel the energy's there anymore. It's not the right time. So no, it won't happen in 2022. So if you're worried, don't be worried. Okay, so the next question that we have here is, will the energy prices and commodities come back down under President Biden? Let's see. Will energy prices and commodities come down under President Biden in the year 2022? Okay. No. Okay, so we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of Wands. And the reason why this is very interesting here, because it talks about something very important. It highlights something, highlights a figure. But hi, Charles. Welcome back, love. So we have here it's 7 of Wands here for fights. And we're not fighting something. We're not fighting. So I feel like it's down the back burner right now. It could be something that's going to be highlighted in the future. But I feel like right now, at this moment in time, it's not important because no one's fighting for it, right? We have it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 of stories here, right? We have mental challenges. People have so much on their mind that the last thing they're thinking about is electric prices and particularly commodities. It feels like it's just become the status quo at this point, especially with inflation. We have the King of Wands here, right? Biden is not as conservative as he appeared when I first read on him. It does feel like he got more liberal social policies on his belt. And I feel like in some way, some form, when the time is right, the prices will drop. But as of right now, it will remain where it is, right? We have here the national debt. Right now, the national debt is very important. I don't see that being a major issue in terms of lowering electric prices. That's not the first thing that he wants to enact. So no, I don't see it. Okay, so what is going to happen with the bird flu that's killing all those cranes and is spreading throughout Europe? Okay. I did talk about this before. If you guys have remembered, I talked about COVID-19 and what was going to happen if you didn't listen. This was about a year and a half ago. And yeah, we're pretty much there already. All right, so let's see. Actually, because you mentioned that, I do have that question in already. So we'll do that in a moment. Where's that question? I have the bird flu, but where is it? Let's just follow it like all the way down. Okay. Well, we'll get to that question. I have it down. I just don't know where it is. All right. So the question that we're asking now is, excuse me. What will we be experiencing as spiritual beings as we get closer to Pluto's return in the United States birth chart? And let's see, astrology-wise, let's see what we're going to be experiencing. What will be experiencing in our spiritual beings in 2022 as we get closer to Pluto's return in America's birth chart? Now remember, we are going to be exactly 2 years out from 2024 at the height of Pluto's return. So let's see. What will be experiencing? Okay. We have reversals here. Okay. So let's see. Okay, we have volition here. We have retail. And we have propaganda. Okay. Interesting. Why do we have this here? What would we experiencing as spiritual beings as we get closer to Pluto's return in the United States? Oh, okay, I know what this is. Okay. So what's going to happen as we get closer, we're going to start to see more riots, more uprising, strikes. I am sensing here that there's going to be labor strikes, particularly revolving around the workforce, that people are going to start going on strike. There's going to be less people working than normal within the United States, and that is because of poor working conditions and money, right? We have the propaganda here that the propaganda is not going to be bought by people anymore, and that people are going to start to see through that. And that could potentially be the labor shortage, that there's actually not a labor shortage, because if you really had a labor shortage, then why were you able to fulfill those same roles 2 years prior, right? But the same level, people are working mass levels before the COVID pandemic. So to me, it does feel like that could be what this is. We do have here as well on the left side, we have faith, worship, regional, and time dominance. It's about time. It feels like there's a ticking time bomb here. It could potentially be that things are going to start to explode. But the next card, like on top of it, we have the manufacturing industry, but it's the reverse. So it's the impeachment trial. So potentially there's going to be some corruption laws that's going to be put in place. Potentially that there is going to be corruption against other people. And I just sort of answer number 3737. We do have here as well, in these particular states, this is where it's going to take place in the state of Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, right? This is the states that Donald Trump won, except one in 2016, right? And Biden won all these states except Iowa in 2020, right? And so this is very important. So the way that Biden responds is going to be very significant. But the next state that's going to decide the result is going to be some state very similar in terms of energy compared to Ohio. But the next generation that's going to determine who will be the next president of the United States will be the ages of 18 to 29, who are millennial and Gen Z. So this is very interesting because if you haven't noticed already, from 2020, we talked about rise and labor strikes and uprising. And I said that the way the United States is going, and President Biden and Donald Trump, is that they are a mirror image of one another, right? And so whatever happened in 2020 is going to happen under President Biden. Same thing every year leading into the end of the next presidential election, right? So right now we're in the state of calmness, right? We're in the state of understanding everything that's happening, right? We're going to start getting another impeachment trial, just like Donald Trump did, right? But it's going to be Biden. We're going to be experiencing economic collapse very similar to 2008 with Obama, right? Well, before Obama came in. And, all those type of things. It does feel like it's going to be a mirror image. It almost feels like you took Donald Trump and President Biden, both of them have two extreme exact situations. Kind of a little different, but the same lessons, but we're going to see the different style and leadership. That's the goal here, because the reason why we're experiencing that is that in 2020, Donald Trump was supposed to win on purpose, And the reason for that is that we're supposed to see the two separate styles in leadership style. And then come the 2024 presidential election, we're supposed to decide what one we want, right? So that's the reason for that, in case you have not understood why he was elected and why he was allowed. That's why. So the next question that we're going to ask is, how is President Biden doing? Okay. Happy New Year, you too, Charles. Okay, so I'll be talking about the bird flu in a moment when it comes up. So let's see. How is President Biden doing, Spirits and Angels? Tell me. How is President Biden doing in the year 2022? How is President Biden doing in the year 2022? What's happening to President Biden in the year 2022? Okay, you told me to flip the deck. You told me to take the first two cards. Okay. Okay. So let me flip the cards. Okay. All right. So, like I told you guys before, that in the midterm, it feels like we're reading the midterms already in terms of President Biden, right? We have here the winner is going to be known, right? So we're asking, how is Biden doing, right? Biden is the winner, right? But it does feel like on election night or election day, when we vote in next year, the year coming, we're going to know who's going to win. We will have a 50-50 Senate, and there will be a tiebreaker. This potentially could mean to a major legislation that could be passed, right? We do have a Democrat flip, right? Because on the back of it, we have a Republican win, but there's a Democrat flip, which potentially means that maybe a bill that was thought not to pass, it could be a bill right here that's why it could be coming up as election. It could be, the reason for this is that potentially this could be a bill that was thought not to pass, and it becomes a major Biden initiative policy that's going to transform the United States. I don't know what this is, but it does feel like it evolved around the food industry. Potentially, it could be food, maybe food stamps, could be potentially the way that we eat, the way we control our foods, and the way that we consume. This could be what this is. Maybe if you have an idea, let me know, because this would be interesting. This also, it could be relating to COVID-19 as well, as it talks to quality of life and length. It could also be talking about insulin, people with diabetes. It could also be referring to cancer as well. I'm seeing here as well, especially medication. This could also be referring to healthcare. We have here in terms of electoral college, it does feel like it's going to pass, but it's going to be bipartisan. There's going to be bipartisan support for this bill to pass. Okay, so it'll be 270 to 315 seats. So this will be kind of like the margin range at the moment. In the House of Representatives when passing this bill. So I kind of feel like this is a bill that has to pass in the House of Representatives that is not right now approved. We have here the refusal to concede, right? Too close to call, election fraud, will concede. It does feel like there's going to be some claim from the opposing party that the bill was rigged and that no one actually wanted it, and it's not good. And so it's going to go to the court. And of course, going to have to decide the results, whether or not it's legal to do it. Potentially, it could be revolving around a constitutional issue. It could be a Bill of Rights, could be gun reform, could be abortion rights. There could be a multitude of different things. But it does feel like there is some sort of win for President Biden coming into the next year. Okay, let's see the next question here. Oh, perfect. We have the next question. Let's see. How would the 2022 midterm go? Now, if you had not already, please make sure you vote, because voting starts very soon in the month of November of next year. So make sure you get ready. Make sure you get out and poll. Make sure you get everybody you know to get to the polls. All right, so Spirits and Angels, tell me, what will be the 2022 midterm results? As of right now, with the current energy going into the election, what will be the midterm results in 2022? Okay, that's way too many, and that was really on me. Okay. What will be the midterm results in 2022? What will be the midterm results, Spirits and Angels tell me? Okay, I'll take it. Okay, so. Whew. Look at this food industry. This could be what this is. It could be the midterm that we just spoke about. But it's also going to be related to drugs and alcohol as well. So I think it was a health issue, potentially drugs, like I said, insulin. So if you're wondering what that was, this is further confirmation. Then we also have here in terms of the midterm results, we have here the Senate, particularly, will be between 552 to 48. So basically speaking, that either the Republicans gain up about 4 seats or 2 seats, and or the Democrats gain 2 seats. So we'll see. But it does feel like that is a possibility, and along with the House of Representatives, it does feel like the losing party will either have between 199 to 212 representatives in Congress. So that will be the result of 2022 midterms as of right now. Okay, so will there be any potential deadly bird flu outbreak waiting for us in 2022? Okay, that was the card there. There you go. We finally got it. Okay, so Spirit Angel, tell me, would there be a potential deadly bird flu outbreak waiting for us in 2022? Why does the card keep coming up? Okay. Bird flu, will there be a deadly bird flu outbreak in 2022? Okay. All right. Okay, interesting. So we have the Ace of Wands. There's a potentiality here. There's a potential that we're not focusing, we're not listening, and we're not doing what we're told. Or we're not understanding, we're not following our purpose. And because of that, it almost feels like there's going to be probably another one to make sure that we actually do what we're supposed to do, right? Because some of the people, as you clearly see, are trying to get out of it because they're whining and, whatnot. You all know what that is. So we have here as well, we have the Ace of Wands here, right? And this kind of talks about a potential brand new outbreak. That this would be kind of like a gift from the divine, so to speak. And that the reason for this is that it's supposed to teach us a lesson because we have not learned from the last one. And so we won't get out of this pandemic, and more will come if we don't listen, right? You can kind of see this already. The leaves are falling. They're going to fall eventually. And this is air, right? By the way, this is air. And we're talking about bird flu, and bird fly in the air. So this would not be out of question right now that there could potentially be an outbreak in 2022 of the bird flu. We have here on the left side here, we do have scientists already starting to create vaccines or potential things that could help prevent or lessen the effects of the bird flu if there was to be an outbreak. Right? The challenge here, though, to the Ace of Wands here, which is the bird flu, is the future and the past. We could learn from what we did with COVID and do the right thing and prevent the outbreak, or we can follow what we did in the past, refuse to listen, and spread the outbreak. That's the challenge here to the bird flu. We have here as well, we have the Knight of Swords. People want to try to say, oh, we can fight it. Our immune system can fight it. But no, your immune system cannot fight it. I talked about this before. And I talked about another virus coming around the time of COVID, and I spoke about this a long time ago. And the reason for this is, and I said this before, that you may have been able to survive COVID, right? You may have been able to, but your body is weak. Your body is no longer immune. It does not have the strength to fight another serious virus, will make this a much more deadly virus than normally intended. If just say COVID did not exist, you would be able to fight it a lot easier than if you were doing it without COVID, right? If you had COVID. We have here as well, we have the Hermit. This is unpredictability. We're not sure. But this is the card that predicts, right? It's the light is in the dark. right? And what they said is maybe, but very likely. Not saying it's definite, but it's saying as to the current path, it's the most likely outcome at the moment, right? Now, this is just for entertainment purposes only, and then can indeed change as time goes on. All right. We have people coming out of hospital. Right now, the problem with the bird flu is that now they will have to make a decision in the hospital setting. Will not have to make a decision whether or not they want to treat certain patients and whether or not they're going to leave them for dead because they won't have enough room to carry all those patients. We also have here as well, we have the Four of Cups. People are going to start spreading conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But however, people won't buy it the way they bought it with COVID. And the reason for this is because they're seeing more people around them die. And so now they know this is more serious than just say COVID-19, even though COVID-19 was serious. But this might just be the wake-up call that we all need. The Hail Marys or the Hail Grace. We have here the King of Cups here, right? We have our emotion. That's why Spirit is telling us early in the video that we need to keep our emotions in check and not feed into the fear. Allow ourselves to be grounded and understand that as long as you do what's right and you create those boundaries and those foundation to help keep you afloat and help you able to fight these diseases with all the strength that you got, as long as you tried, you will be safe. That's what Spirit is telling you here, that as long as you try to do the right thing, and try to help strengthen yourself up so that you can be really immune, you will be safe. Right here, we have here as well as we have the Queen of Cups. Now, please keep in mind, this is just for entertainment purposes only, and I'm not a medical practitioner. And we also have here as well as we have the Queen of Wands here, and we have the woman with the wand. And it talks about real more so it's about stability and mentality. It's really about how you perceive things. You have to understand it and look at it from two different perspectives, both at the physical sense, but also at the spiritual sense. And when you're able to do that, you're able to understand the bird flu and why you have it if you would ever get it. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's try to pick positive things, people, please. Let's try to keep it positive. Let's not scare the hell out of each other. Okay, so the state of the republic democracy within the United States in 2022. Let's take a look. So, Spirit saying, tell me, what will the state of the United States democracy be like in 2022? Actually, let me use the other deck. That would be a good deck. And then we're going to be jumping, I think, right after this, I think we'll be jumping into climate change. What will be the state of Republican democracy in the United States in 2022? Okay. Ah, yes. The same, very distinguished. We have former President Donald Trump. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. The ironies here, I'm telling you, people, the ironies that this card shows up of all things. Okay. What will be the American democracy be like in the republic in 2022? Now I at least know these deck actually works and actually functions as I should. Because it comes up exactly as it should be. So, let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see if any more cards, I'll pull them. Do that one. Okay. All right. Well, now we're acting in the state of the republic and democracy within the United States. So the first card that comes up, ironic enough, is Donald Trump, right? We have former President Donald Trump and Barack Obama, right? On the back of it, of course, we have the pandemic. But we have here, we have the Troubles leader. What is reverse? What's LGBT rights, right? We have here the Republican White House, right? He had the hold on the White House, but he lost that in 2022 to President Joe Biden, which is now flips into the religion card, right? We have the popular vote. We have retail industry, but this flipped. It's older voters, 65 and older, post-World War II generation boomers. Then the challenge to the LGBT rights are unsolved mysteries and voting rights. Okay. Interesting already. I like how I answered the question. So, what we have here, the state of the republic in terms of democracy within the United States, is that we have a challenge here. The leader, the former president, he's the challenge to this, whether or not democracy survives. He is a lesson that America needs to learn. Right? In terms of LGBT rights, it's not really referring to LGBT. It's referring to civil rights and voting rights, particularly. Right, we're talking about here is we have mail-in ballots, early voting, early easy access, voting rights. This is a challenge that we're experiencing right now. And the reason that's stopping this voting rights from going through is the religion, people's beliefs. That they believe that if this was to happen, they will lose their voice. But the thing is, they never had a voice. So in order to make sure you have a voice, is you need to allow this voting bill to go through. Otherwise, you're just talking to a wall. We have the popular vote. Right, we're talking about national popular vote, Clinton versus Trump, Democrats win but lose. And what we're talking about here is that it kind of feels like the next election in 2024, if we keep on continuing the same path going forward, it does feel like there is ways for the former president to be back in the White House. Right, I talked about that before. There is ways for Donald Trump to come back into the political scene, and he could become the next president again. Right, and it's all hangs on the balance of voting rights. Well, if voting rights do not pass, and I said this before, it will make it 10 times easier for him to come in. Now remember, 2020 allowed these voting rights restrictions to be restricted, which means that it's now going to be a lot easier for him to win come the next election. We also have here, as well as we have older voters, the age of 65 and older. And it kind of talks about the old ways, the old status quo, things are going to start to change. And that's how it is. It feels like people are so stuck in their mind about the way things used to be, they're not allowing change to happen. And because they're not allowing the change to happen, it's going to be very devastating for the country. Right? We have addressed the nation's speech, designated survivor, State of the Union. The worst case scenario here is that there could potentially be a targeted attack on a politician that could lead to someone taking their own place. And that could be what will spark what's the best way to use it? It's going to spark not a revolution, not anything like that, but it's going to spark a seismic shift. But it's going to be a seismic shift into darkness. Right? We have the line of secession, right? The presidential line of secession. But if the former president runs again without voting rights being put in place, now this is a warning, and you can manifest this to be put in place. Remember, this is the year of manifestation. You want to manifest. He will win by a bigger margin than he did previously. 313 to 360 electoral votes, with a 54 to 46 Senate, and enough to either win the House of Representatives or narrowly lose it. Okay, and then we have here between the popular and older voters is an economic crash, right? And this is what the spirit guides are telling me here, that this is a one possibility out of many that will put him in the White House. All these things have to go right for him to be back in the White House, right? If you take voting rights, just saying, you put that in, it makes it 10 times harder for him to be president. Just say you put the popular vote in, the national popular vote. Now the national people in the country, whoever wins the most votes, wins. That makes it 10 times harder for him to win. But with an economic depression, they will blame it on the Democrats, and the older people will come out and draw because of the memories that they had when they were younger, and it will sway the election in his favor. And so that's how democracy is. Democracy is very fragile within the United States right now. That is what I see at the moment. Okay, so let's take a look. Is there any significant technology advancement in 2022? Let's take a look. What would be a good deck for this? What would be a good technology advancement? Do I have a deck for this? Let's use this one. We're going to use the food fortune deck. Let's see. Is there going to be something like a technology boom like what we witnessed in the 90s with President Bill Clinton with iPhone? Let's see. That's the book. Okay. All right, so Spirit Angel, Tommy, will there be any significant technology advancement in the year 2022? Okay. Oh, I'm starting to get hungry. Okay. This actually looks so good right now, guacamole. Okay, anyway, besides the point. We have the fountain, right? And that's the 2. And what I've sent in here that I'm being brought back to the 80s, something from the 80s, and it relates to an iPhone. It feels like there's going to be some sort of technology that's going to be very similar to the 80s. Something that was very popular and being shown, a brick phone, potentially that can make a comeback, but in a different form. Potentially could be found on movies and DVDs. This potentially could mean technology advancement. Potentially they may go back in style because I mean, who wants to carry a brick phone with them so you can clock someone in the head if they ever try to take you away from the family or whatever, or try to be kidnapped? We have here as well, we have the chip breaker. And that's on the left here. And what this kind of feels like, it feels like something is mushy. Something is mushy. And I'm trying to close my eyes right now. And I feel like this revolved around organs. Potentially this revolved around like scientific breakthroughs in creating organs that could be like 3D printed or something like that. It feels like the organ, there's something being manipulated, like synthetic organ. Like they're not from an actual human, but it feels like it's like a 3D DNA printed one from an actual person's DNA, but then printed on like a machine. So just say your kidney failed, but you have a brand new kidney from your own DNA, so your body did not reject that. It feels like that's what this is. Then we have here as well, we have the refried. And I'm showing me like a Tesla, but it feels like other companies now are going to start to copy Tesla and start to copy like the electrical grid and the way that the Tesla operates, and it's going to kind of become more mainstream. So if you're planning on getting a Tesla, I will hold off because it feels like a lot of companies are going to start to put out cheaper models for the same exact quality as a Tesla, but cheaper models. So it'd be basically, why spend all your money on a Tesla when you can get it from like Ford or something? That's what I'm seeing here. So those are the 3 big technological advancements that we're going to experience in 2022. Okay, will there be any major breaking news in 2022? Oh God, help us all, right? All right, hold on. Trying to get this deck. Kind of hard when I made like 184 different designs. It's kind of hard sometimes to pick up the deck. It's so big. Okay. What are your New Year's resolution, by the way, guys? Make sure you put it in the comment section so you can manifest them to happen. For me, my manifestation is that I want to become healthier, happier, work out at the gym, become like more me, Just be happy. That's really that's all I ask for, really. Just be happy. Hi, Marie. What's up, love? Glad you like the card. So, any major breaking news and event that's going to happen in 2022? Okay, that's way too many. Let's see. Any major breaking news? Okay, will there be any breaking news in 2022? Will there be any breaking news in 2022? Will there be any major news outlets? Any major news? I'm trying to close my eyes right now to really see what this possibly could be. Yes, Marie, I made them. Whew. Okay, can you guys see me now? I know that the Wi-Fi was going a little achy. Yes, I made them. It took a while, but these were made by my spirit guides. They were guiding me through the entire process. Any major breaking news? I'm trying to close my eyes to kind of see. Let's just put this out here. Okay, so it does look like there is a major breaking news here. Okay. Okay, that's not good. What's this here? All right. Well, there's a lot of news, honey. There's a lot of news that's coming in 2020. Okay, so, oh God, help us all. Okay, so we have again the same exact card actually that we talked about the midterm. One of the major news outlets is going to be the result 52 to 48, 199 to 212. It does not specify what party, but it does specify that it looks like to me that's going to be a Senate, either a Senate flip or a Senate hold for the Democrats, and the same thing with the Republican. Okay, so we have world culture. So yes, we do have a lot more attacking on a news cycle, particularly attacking people who are more spiritual. So we're starting to expect people who are spiritual to start get attacked on social media. Expect your YouTube video, YouTube channel to start premiering on the news outlets. And, it's almost like it's going to be the last parade against spirituality to try to hope that they can sway people away from those people. Basically, trying to get people back into the cheap mode, understanding and full of sleep type of thing. That's what I'm sensing here. We do have a lot of Supreme Court cases coming up, so that would be very important that you want to focus on. We do also have as well, we do have media interviews, spinning the stories. So do not always trust what you see on the news. It does feel like some of it is going to be fabricated in favor of whatever agenda that they have. We have here older adult voters, so especially when it comes to older people, particularly between the ages of 45 to 64. It does feel like there will be major news that's going to come out about it. Potentially, this will be about Stacey Abrams. I don't know why, but I do feel like in some way, if she is single, right, I does feel like in some way she may actually come out. And I don't want to, please don't hold this against me because I'm just telling you what my energy feels for her. If it's her, it could be the wrong person, but it could be like her energy. It feels like she might come out as a lesbian in some way, and she might be married to a woman. I'm not exactly sure if that's true or not, but that's what I'm sensing here. So that might be a major breaking news. The next card that comes out is we have World War. I don't sense a World War, but it does feel like we might get on the brink of it. There might be something that close that happened because the card that comes after that is martial law. This could potentially mean the country's on lockdown. It could be that we're at the World War. It may not necessarily be an actual war. It could be a war against COVID, a war against the bird flu. Who knows what it is? I don't really see physical like shooting or death, but I do feel for this one martial law, I do feel like there will be some country that's going to have to go on martial law. I don't know what country. It may not be the United States. We will have high prices, high housing prices, something very similar to the 2008 recession. I did talk about a great recession. We have here as well, we have Martin Luther King, but it was reversed. And the card that follows, as you all know, is the assassination attempt. So it potentially could be that there may be an event like this, but it was also reversed as well, as both of them are exactly aligned with one another. I think this was done on purpose with my guys. And so it tells me there is a possibility for this event to occur, but very unlikely. However, we will have a winner known, and it does feel like this is the shocker. We have the winner known here, and we have the Republicans lose. So that could be what this could be. This could be that potentially the Republicans are expecting maybe a big victory in November to end up experiencing a very small victory, or even may not even have a big victory. They may flip the House, but they may lose the Senate, but they may only flip the House by a very small seat. So it may be a small victory for the Republicans. And so that's what this could be as well, right? So I will have to change my data. This will be the first time in months that we had a Democratic victory in the House and the Senate. So I will have to add that in later into my data. Then we also have here as well, we have post-influenza pandemic, the roaring 20s, the roaring economy, post-Great Depression, right? I talked about we're going to experience the roaring 20s. All right. So that is the major breaking news of events of 2022. Holy cow, I am like shocked right now. With the extreme weather patterns happening around the world, is it being created by geoengineer like HARP or scarier weaponry, or is the planet having natural magnetic shift on the pole? I feel like personally, Princess, we have to ask that in a different video because I feel like that's not the right question I want to have when it comes to about 2022. As that's not really trying to understand what's to come. We can ask that in another video. I'll be doing a weather video separately. Okay, so let's talk about climate change in the year 2021. Let's take a look at climate change, okay? We have California already. California is having snow with Nevada. What the weirdest thing, Nevada and California have snow, whereas New York has really warm weather. Texas froze over with ice. I mean, come on, guys. If climate change is not in front of your face, I don't know what will be because that's just insane. Okay, so let's see. How is climate change affecting in the year 2022? Okay, and I will be doing a video on the East Coast tsunami. I did see that coming, and I feel like it's going to happen sooner, and I'll explain why towards the end of this video. Okay, so Spirit Center of Tsunami. How climate change in the year 2022? Okay. Marie, have you been getting the same type of things in your videos? I haven't been on YouTube a lot lately, so I haven't watched anybody. You agree? How will climate change in the year 2022? Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, I have COVID again. Yeah, but I had the, so I'm okay. I'm not really feeling any symptoms. Okay, so we have judgment card here, right? And we have the climate change. It's basically a day of judgment, right? And it's not really necessarily judgment as like in the Bible judgment. It feels like it's just the day that you're not respecting Mother Nature. And Mother Nature, the best way I'm seeing it in my image right now, it's kind of like Mother Nature with like the picture like an earth, right? And her having hands and eyes, and her taking her hand, right? And just scratching her back. That's what this is. It kind of feels like you're getting very ishy with this type of thing, and it just feels like she's just trying to get it off her. Like we're like little parasites on our own planet, and we're infecting it. Is what it feels like. You're feeling a lot of bad things too, yeah. Oh, I'm fine. Thank you, Marie. I appreciate it. Much love to you. So we have the Tower card on the left side here. And it's talked about previous upsets, right? We're talking about the Tower and climate change, seismic shift. I potentially do see here an earthquake, but I do feel like there's a crack. There's going to be some sort of crack. I'm in my third eye right now. I see kind of like a location. It's going to be kind of like, it's like a diagonal. So it's going to go from British Columbia, which is in Canada, through Washington, the little clip of Washington, to Idaho, through the Yellowstone volcanoes, which is not good. And then we go through there into Colorado. So that's what I'm seeing, kind of like in that kind of line. A line of view here. Now, there could be symbolic as well. Like I said before, that more energy is released from Earth, the more energetically awakening that we become, right? Things are going to start to shift. Then we have here as well as we have the Fool card. The temperature, like I said earlier in today's video, the temperatures are going to skyrocket. We're going to get warmer weather than anticipated. And because of that, it's going to get people more nervous. We're going to start to feel warmer, hotter. It feels like we're in a Jurassic period. And I'll explain why this is going to be very beneficial. If there were dinosaurs today, why it'd be very beneficial, and why it's very dangerous about what's happening. And I did tell you guys all before that the best way to know what's going to happen far beyond what's going to, that's already kind of the way the world ends, there is no end. It's always an infinity symbol of an 8 turned sideways, right? Like an hourglass. But the way that we ended is the way that we started, and that's with dinosaurs. There will be dinosaurs back on this earth, and I said this before. It's supposed to happen that way, and it's going to be a pattern, kind of like that, right? So let's take a look at this question. You're getting worried about the Yellowstone? Yeah, I did a video on the Yellowstone. I do feel like it might have some issues about that as well. So if you have any reasons on that, let me know. We'll compare data and just kind of see what you get, what I get, and then we'll kind of compare it. So I think it'll be very interesting to kind of see. Okay, so let's do this video. Let's do the question. Okay, so the question is: Antarctica, quote, doomsday glacier collapsed into the ocean this year due to high heat and warm 2021 weather or winter. So basically, what this is that there's a glacier, and I was notified this on Google. It was popped up randomly on my notification. I almost felt like a sign that I should do this type of question. There's a glacier, right? You know how I spoke about the East Coast tsunami that's gonna come and it's gonna be in the time when Biden's in like the hospital, and that was like one of the dreams, or like that was the reading I did on tsunami, where it comes in from both sides, from the Pacific and the East Coast, and they meet, and then it collapses, almost very similar to the way the Bible described Moses coming through the Red Sea. Kind of very similar to like that. It goes up, it comes down, crashes, and it recedes back into the ocean again. And so, potentially, the glacier, if it hits into the water, it's going to cause a seismic tsunami, right? And now, if you have not watched Titanic, you may have seen Titanic 2, which is basically a sequel to the original Titanic, and it talked about a boat that was in the ocean. And the way this Titanic works is that it's supposed to prevent itself from being ruined by icebergs, right? It was Titanic 2. But it followed the same exact path as 1912. However, there's one difference. It might be immune to being torn open by icebergs, but it does not account for a tsunami wave. And during that movie, it talked about climate change in the year 2017, and it talks about a major iceberg crashing into the ocean, causing a major seismic tsunami to drown that boat. But the difference is, there is an actual Titanic that's set to sail in 2022 of this year. But what makes it even more interesting, back in 1900, there was a book that came out called The Titanic, right? It talks about everything that was going to happen about 10 or 15 years prior to the Titanic sinking. So if this were to happen, it would follow exactly the same script as the movie. The same way the book was, but it's a prediction. So let's see. I thought this would be a very interesting topic. I did feel like my spirit guides were talking to me through this particular doomsday glacier. So let's take a look. Yeah, definitely Maria's table, definitely to talk. It's been a very long time since I did any sort of collab. We don't have to do like a collab video, but just kind of like talk and to kind of exchange information and see what we got. It'll be kind of interesting to see. So Spirit Angel, tell me about this doomsday glacier. I actually have a deck for this. Okay. All right, so we're going to be using Earth Magic here. So let's take a look. Yes, more water. Yeah, so do you see more water, Maria? Do you see like an East Coast tsunami? Because I've been getting lately tornadoes coming towards my house. I live in New York, obviously, you know that. And I've been getting it. I stop every time after I do a video on natural disasters. And so I'm just trying to see what that is and why that's even happening. So if you get it, let me know. Spirit Angel, tell me more about this Antarctica doomsday glacier. Oh, you do. So you do get so you do see East Coast tsunami then. So we're right on the mark here. Okay, so Spirit Angel, tell me about this doomsday glacier. Is there potentially going to be collapsing into the ocean in 2022? Positive cards here. Okay. All right. Okay. But it's like a lot of different things. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Okay, so you feel like it's a multitude, and I do feel that I agree with you too. So we have the fairies. Remember how I talked about you guys earlier in today's video? I talked about put your New Year's resolution in this video and manifest it and believe it and truly atone to it. Well, do that, because what we have here is we have the fairies card here. The fairies, the earth magic, they were here to help, right? Manifest to have the fairies come into existence, bring them into existence, and they will help us Earthwise when it comes to natural disasters. If you're ever worried about a natural disaster, this is what spirits are telling me here, is that call upon the fairies around you within your local area. They will come and help you make sure that you are safe and guarded, right? So you will be fine if you're worried. We have here is harmony. There will be a sense of balance, harmony. I don't sense it at the moment. There's vigilance, right? You see calmness in the water. But they always say, be worried. When things are calm, you should be worried because that's when crazy things happen, right? Calmness before the calmness before the ocean or something like that. I don't know what it was, but calmness before the chaos or whatever that is. We also have your ancestors, generations, right? It's been a long time coming since this ever occurred. The last time this ever occurred was, I think, around before the dinosaur came into existence. So it's a long time. Many generations have witnessed this. This will be the next. But we ask whether or not will the iceberg fall into the ocean in 2022. And we have here the autumn equinox release. So it feels like we might actually. Thank you, Marie. The calm before the storm. Thank you. I cannot get that out. Thank you. The calm before the storm. Thank you, Marie. And we have this autumn equinox, and it kind of tells me here that we will have a very, very hot winter, spring, and summer, and because of that, it's going to melt it to the point that it's going to release in this year coming. It does feel like if they'll have that release, which is why I told you this before, that the spirit guide told you, do not be worried as we're supposed to experience this. But if you are worried, these little friends that you cannot see with your physical eye, but can sense them with your spiritual energy, they're here to help guide you. So don't be scared or fearful if that isn't going to happen and you might be worried. Just understand that this is all part of what we're supposed to experience because we're not learning. And so when things aren't learned, you kind of kick it up a notch, right? We have here, mother is very nurturing. She will help you if you help her, right? Gaia. And I talked about this earlier in today's video. I draw like a plant, you put it in a plant and become one with it. Because when you become one with Mother Nature realizes that you are to be protected. You are a gem. You are a stone, so to speak. You are a diamond and you are rare to be found. So why would Mother Nature want to take you out when she can keep you because you are a rarity? Whereas somebody who's exploiting her for her own benefit, for their own political short-term gain, right? So that's the difference. If you can understand and appreciate Mother Nature and help her in any way that you can, she will help you back. When you raise her, you raise an ally. Remember that. Remember that saying. When you raise her, you raise an ally. Did you just see that? Did something just walk past here? I just saw that on the screen here. Maybe you guys saw it. Okay, so next thing is that I saw this on TikTok a long time ago, and I just figured maybe I should do it. It says, how many days do we have left till climate change is irreversible? They're saying December 31st, 2027 is the correct date. Is that the correct date? It's in 6 years and 1 day. So let's take a look. I did do a tarot card reading on this individually, and I never did a video on it. It says yes, it's correct, but I have not done this particular date, so not sure. My resolution is to merge my soul or my shadow self with my higher self so I can radiate the best version of my spirit and to all living beings. Now that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Diva will be doing your thing, your question soon. No, it's a lot sooner. What are you saying, Mary? What's a lot sooner? Oh, you're talking about the climate change time, right? Let's see. I felt that way too. I felt like it was sooner too. I've seen 5 years, but let's see. Because I did say this. Okay. 5 years. Okay. So remember when I talked about particularly a long time ago, guys? I talked about the big one, and I asked how long it would take, and I said it's going to either happen this year or it's going to happen within the next 5 years. That could be that 5-year mark. That could be like what really like said, oh crap, it's irreversible now. Let's see. Do we actually have 6 years until climate change is irreversible? Okay. I just heard it from my guys now from my right ear. They said 3 or 4 years total. 3 or 4 years total. We have the Ace of Pentacles here. We have the Nine of Swords. Hopefully I counted this right. The Nine of Swords and the Page of Wands. I don't see too long left. I feel like we only have about that amount that my spirit guide told me. Let's use this book here. Let's see. Because I really want to make sure I have the right answer on this. So we're going to use this, and we're also going to use the pendulum. Mary, you know how long you're seeing? Marie, excuse me. Marie, you know how long you're seeing? We're using the Book of Answer. Let's see. Spirit Angel tell me, is climate change going to be irreversible by December 31st, 2027? Okay, so my guys are saying sooner, but let's just see what the book says. You see 3 years, Marie? Okay. Okay, so we have here, shift your focus. Okay. All right, Spirit Angel tell me, I'm shifting my focus, Will climate change become irreversible within the next 4 years? Right there. Okay. We have here, setting priorities will be a necessary part of the process. When I talk about manifesting, making sure that it does not happen or occur. And is Marie seeing 3 years? Is that going to be a very quick, is that what we're going to experience? Is climate change going to become irreversible in 3 years from now, from 2022? Okay. There is good reason to be optimistic, right? So it does feel like, in some way, Marie, I think you're right. It does specify a positive note when I asked about 3 years. So it does look like you are on par here. It does feel like spirit guides are saying about 3 years. So yeah. So if you're looking for confirmation, that's the confirmation. Okay. Moving on to a little bit brighter things. We have here, hey Chris, did you ever see another stimulus check this year? Or the first next year out of the budget reconciliation infrastructure bill? If so, when do you see it happening? Oh, okay. My spirit guide told me the month of November next year. Well, let's just see. No. Not anytime soon. Nope. Exactly right. We can't give up. We have to try. We have here is we have the Ace of Pentacles. We have here, they're kind of done giving you money. They kind of feel like, here's what I'm saying. This is what I'm hearing. It says they're saying that they kind of treat American people as umbilicals. I don't know what that means, but it kind of sounds like very degrading. They're saying, oh, this umbilicals don't deserve this. Like they put you on a lower pedestal. They see you as disgusting. Right, that's why they don't want to give it to you. We have here trouble, right? You're in trouble right now. You're fighting for your life. You're fighting for survival. But if you manifest, it might happen. But you may have to get it from other places other than the government, which is why the card is reversed. On the bottom of the deck here, we have, you may not be able to get it overseas, but you may get it from other sources. Right? That's what I'm sensing here. What do you guys think of today's video so far? Do you guys like it? You feel like it's very informative the next year going into? Okay. I'm out of questions. So if you have questions that you would like answered, feel free to put them in the live chat. Okay, so what are the knowns? The growing number of people who are unaffiliated to any traditional church or religion. I read that the knowns were the voters who put Biden into White House. Actually, funny enough, personally, I had no idea about the terminology, but I do not identify by any religion or church. So I could be one of those two, and I did vote for Biden. So there's that. So you can thank me. But anyway, I'm glad you like us, second. Oh yeah, Happy New Year to all of you guys. I said that earlier, but I forgot about it. All right, so Spirit Angel Tommy, let's talk about this for a second. Okay, what about the known? The growing number of people who are affiliated with any traditional church or religion. The people who don't identify as the religion, spirits and angels, will they become a larger number of them? I hope that's what you're asking. No. No, too much programming. No. It's gonna take a generation or two. But no, too much programming. Especially now. We have the ton of stores being crossed by stealing. I feel like a lot of these people's lives are being stolen and they're blaming it on things that isn't really there, like propaganda, like being misled by the media. It feels like people are blaming things that aren't there. We have the King of Wands. A lot of these people have previously supported the former president who was supposed to be known, people who weren't supposed to associate themselves with the traditional church or religion at all. It does feel like in some way they were supposed to be there, but because of their freedom of choice, they're there. And also, like I said before, that as well, that it does feel like in some way that there is no freedom of choice as well. But in this case, it does apply here. They're meant to be where they are because they're not learning. We have here as well, we have the strength here. It may get stronger in the future, though. It is a positive future for them, but it's going to take a lot of work and effort. You kind of have to undo your program. If you really want to undo it, this is how you do it. So yeah, that's what I see for them. Known, like it, there's none. Oh, none. Oops. I had to call it known. I don't know why. All right, well, anyway, that's weird. Does anybody else have any last minute question that they were like answered for today? Thank you, Marie. Much love to you. We have to do a collab or just message me or email me and then we'll talk. We'll just do like a video chat together. We don't have to physically like go live or anything. Just talk. I want to see how you're doing, how you're feeling, energy wise and everything like that, and just how you're doing overall because it's been a long time since we talked. Okay, so while we're waiting for last minute question, I'm gonna give you an ancestral message. Okay, awesome, Marie. Spirit Angel, tell me about the ancestors. Tell me what's going on here. What do we need to know? How our ancestors are feeling in the month ahead, the next 12 months? How are they feeling? What messages would they like to provide to my viewers to start off the new year with? Oh, they're roasting the crap out of you guys. Okay, they are crapping on your life right now, even on me as well. So all of us have to benefit from these messages. Don't get mad and understand that they have the best interest in mind. It's a little harsh, I will tell you that. Okay, so question is, first one, are you adding value to your life? Is this situation adding value to your life? If the answer is no, then get rid of it. Okay, so this is particularly referring to a lot of you guys who have been feeling in some way or some form that whatever the first thing that comes to your mind, this is what this is. The left side, your ascension is here. You are leveling up. It might be challenging, but you will get through it. Okay, if you resonate with that, that is for you. If you resonate with all these, then congratulations. Your ancestors are dearly roasting the crap out of you. We have here on the right side, we have pay attention to the snakes in the grass and the crows in the sky. Okay? This basically means pay attention to your friends and the enemies that fly above you. And the bottom one here is it's time to release all physical and energetic toxins from your life. Purify and detox. This is your message from your spirit guides when it comes to what you need to do for the next year, for the new year. Okay, guys? And wishing you guys all a very merry, happy new year, because I almost said the other thing. But I all hope you guys are cheer in the new year. Remember, manifest a positive thing this next year. It's going to be very positive in terms of energy, and particularly for you as a spiritual being. Actually, we just had a question. Okay, will there be any change in violent Hollywood movies, especially concerning the portrayal of guns due to what happened to the set of Rust? interesting. Funny enough, in October when I was watching a movie, a TV show, I said to myself, I'm like, oh, it feels like someone's gonna shoot somebody on set. But then the TV show showed it, and I was like, okay, a little weird, but all right. I kind of let it slide. And then we had that guy show up, and Alec Baldwin, I think he was, and he shot somebody. Hypothetically, because I can't say it is or it did not, but let's see. Will there be more gun safety on Hollywood stats? Will there be more gun safety on Hollywood stats? Now, we have here, it's all about really the money and corporate greed here. We have here, it's all about trying to get the realism here. It's kind of feel like they're too focused on realism, trying to get that realistic look. So no, I don't feel like they're going to change anytime soon. And we have the Night of Swords. People are going to start to protest and fight for this, but as of right now, it's a no. All right, guys. I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in today. Thank you, Marie Table, for coming in and confirming a lot about today's reading. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Ring in the new year. Do not forget to write in your New Year's resolution at the end of this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to hit the subscription button. It really helps the channel and really helps spread this YouTube video out to others, and hope that we can be able to reach a larger audience so that I can help put a smile on all your faces. Other than that, I love you guys. Have a very beautiful night, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.